Hi, this is Jenny, who's attending because she's had problems with her temporomandibular joints and was asking for our comments. And I think it would be excellent if other people would have a chance of seeing the discussion we're about to have, so that they too would be able to understand the temporomandibular joint, as it's called, the one which supports the jaw when you open and shut. It is a very misunderstood joint, and many clinicians are baffled by it, and unfortunately there are quite a number of clinicians who give what I believe is the wrong advice. But the best way to cure anything is to discuss it, and I'm hoping that Jenny here will be able to help you, as well as me and perhaps herself, understand what temporomandibular joints do and why they can be so troublesome. So I'm going to start by asking Jenny to tell us a little about the past and how she got to this particular position. Could I ask how old you are to start with first?
I'm 36.
36, yes. And you had some form of treatment, I believe, some time ago?
When I was 10, between the ages of 10 and 11, I had teeth taken out. I had my premolars all removed, and I think my back teeth also removed at the same time. I had a year of retractive braces, train track braces, that were tightened and tightened over the course of a year. My lower jaw was tightened further. I had I think the kind of a rubber band that you attach from one to the other, and they force your jaw back to be further to look more demure, apparently, for a nice husband later. And to kind of force cheekbones. And so that was when I was 10 and 11, and when I was 23 and 24, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, so curvature of my spine.
Yes.
And a few years later, of the NHS, fantastic people who I saw, but there was a limit to how much they could help and what they could offer me, and nothing was coherent or cohesive, nothing seemed holistic. So I was offered some sort of bars through my spine that would reach up into towards my skull, and various different things. And what's really helped me were a technique from the States, which adjusted my skull, my atlas joint, into the spaces of my skull, which made, I could feel that I was taller, but then I could also see that the horizon line of the pavement and what should be a straight line across, I could see that there was a distinction between the two, because I'd spent years adjusting while my skull had been off. And so now and a Russian technique as well that sort of popped me back in permanently. And the Russian lady who I saw with the neck chiropractic, she said this is down to your dentistry, and I could feel that my lower jaw now was diagonal from the years of it being sort of skewed when I had these teeth taken out, and I can massively feel the difference of my face being in the wrong place. So now I have all the sensation in my body. My scoliosis is gone. I can feel my shoulders, my hands. I can see all the colours. My hearing and my eyesight have started to come back, but my jaw is in the wrong place.
Right, fine. What has caused the recent change then?
I went for a procedure called Atlas Prophylax.
Right. This was the treatment to the spine, basically, in your atlas joint.
Yes.
Right. Now, have you had any trouble with these joints here, your ear joints or your TMD, as some people call them?
Yes.
What sort of trouble have you had?
So much. I have had so many problems, Professor Mew. I have... when there are certain emotions that I feel like when I had the orthodontic treatment, it was planned to hold my facial expression in a certain position, because I don't have the teeth to function normally with certain types of emotions. So now that I've had my skull adjusted so that it's back down on my spine in a straight line, I can have all the emotions, but my face can't do it. So I take the tension completely through my TMJ or TM.
Right.
That's the TMJ, isn't it?
TMJ or TMD is the problem.
Is the issue with it. So I've been sort of diagnosed by the NHS as having TMD. If I decide to sort of speak out about something or literally set my jaw and get on with something, the body language, the motion is that you go up sort of through the front and you square off your teeth downwards, and I don't have enough space for that, and so I take the tension here because there's not enough room. So if I decide to stand up and say something, or if I have something to say which is not defiant or aggressive or assertive, but where my eyes aren't engaged on looking at the reaction of someone.
Yes.
If I'm just speaking from the heart, which I do as a person, then I have to let go of this constant tensing that I have to be able to speak and
Are
to
you
use my
finding you
face.
have to do this now? You're talking to me. Are you conscious of your joints or holding your jaw?
I'm conscious of not holding eye contact, and the reason that I'm struggling to hold eye contact is that it's really hard to speak at the same time as hold eye contact because my TMJ feels bent and I have pain.
Now tell me about pain. You say you have pain from your joints?
I have pain from, well, I don't know exactly where the joint is, but sort of the front of my ear where my cheekbone is prominent. I have huge aches there. So if I relax my eyes, or put glasses on to see things far away or what have you, then I have this sort of dull ache. It's almost like if I was suddenly kneeling down for 6 hours without a break and then stood up, the sort of dull pain ache here. And then if a grin or laughing catches me unawares, so not if I smile at something or you friendly smile, but if something makes you laugh or makes you grin, I will have a pain. I will have an ache that comes up because my face is fighting and it's there. It's this kind of stabbing pain that comes downwards.
Do you find that this gets worse when you're eating a large meal, or do you find you wake up with it during the night?
I wake up with it during the night often.
Yes.
If I do something that relaxes me, so before going to sleep.
Yes.
So whether it's having a laugh with a really good friend, or seeing someone who I'm very close to, or drinking a nice glass of red wine, then because I'm not clamping my teeth together, I'll wake up with a migraine, and it's a migraine that it comes from around underneath my temples, kind of where if you had headphones on forward, and it sort of stabs down that way into around here.
How intense would you describe that pain as? Either the migraine or the other pain that you get with your joint?
I edit my life violently to not have the pain. So if I am chewing food that needs chewing, if I eat a steak or something with nuts in it, when I crunch, the line of my teeth, I have to lift my back teeth back, so I have to force my face back, push it sort of forward almost, and push upwards to be able to chew.
And having done that, does it stop the pain or do you still get pain?
It means that I would have so much pain afterwards that if I went with that, I wouldn't be able to function for a day and a half. So if I'm out to eat, I can't ever follow it up with let's go to a bar after it, or let's just go and have a chit chat afterwards and we'll do something in the morning. I can't do both. So
good. Tell me something about waking up at night having pain.
Okay, so I wake up at night having jaw pain, and it's much, much worse if I've been laughing, or if I've been to the gym the night before to sort of work on abdominals.
Yes.
Because then my stomach doesn't take the pressure for me because I've done Pilates or something. I have a normal, and so then the pain when I wake up is, I don't even know how to begin describing it. It's almost like having a broken ankle or a sprain.
Pretty severe.
It's colossal. I mean,
Yes. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Do you associate that with any activity of your own or any other occurrence?
Tears, feeling teary, so watching something that's genuinely upsetting, or watching a very sad film or something that grabs you, or a woman once in a while you feel lots of compassion for something, or being assertive. In the last 2 years, if I feel assertive, then I will have this huge pain, so I have to moderate, delegate.
You understand or know the word bruxism, do you?
Yes, very much.
Do you think that might be associated with it in any way?
When I had the braces, the only thing that would take the pain away was crunching my teeth together hard.
That's very interesting.
So when I was 10, I even have photographs. It was really interesting finding your stuff online about children with their mouths open.
Yes.
So I think when I had my mouth open, it was because the times I was stressed, I was biting down, or trying to focus and do everything.
Right.
But when I had the braces in, I crunched my teeth really hard.
No, that all fits in with my thoughts. What have you done yourself to try and improve this? You're a logical, sensible woman. You must have realised there are causes and effects. Have you worked, you mentioned changing diet or not doing certain things, maybe not even watching certain films. But supposing you wanted to stop yourself from any problems with your joints tonight or the rest of the day, what would you consciously do?
I don't think that they're healthy for a normal life, but the things I would do to make sure I can function tomorrow are take myself out of any emotional, personal situation. So anything that's confronting to me, anything where I would be upset, or I'd have to take myself out of the situation.
The single word stress occurs to me. That it broadly covers all those things.
Yes.
And you won't be surprised to know that many people associate bruxism and, incidentally, TMD problems with stress.
No,
but of course you can't go to a clinician easily and say I want to have less stress. We live in a stressful life, and it's up to us to find our way to cope with it.
Well, you say that, but I qualified as a hypnotherapist in 2005, and I spent a decade working in resolving my own stress and other people's, and describing that experientially to other people through language, through my voice, and that was my job. So I focused constantly. I found myself surrounded by actors to understand body language, to interpret when I have a client, to understand my own, to basically let go of muscular tension and unconscious holding patterns, to let go of them, to be better able to get on with your life. So I've focused.
No, I totally understand that. How much do you know about the temporomandibular joint? I mean, do you know what is actually causing your pain, or the various theories for why you should have pain?
I would love your opinion. My only take on it is if I understand about crying. So if you are overconscious of something, whether you've had a shock or whether you have a phobia or someone's made you upset, then you hold in fight or flight or freeze, and when you get to friendship or companion solidarity, you relax all of your muscles, your eyes relax, and you relax from your TMJ because your eyes are blurred, and so you soften. And now I don't have my back teeth because I can't do that. I notice I can't sort of cry properly. So I imagine it's to do with that.
Well, you're associating emotion, of course, which is stress, and the two go together. What actually physically happens, let me just explain. If this is the joint in your jaw and your mandible comes down there and goes like that, you have your condyle fits up into the joint. Now there should be a little space all the way around. In fact, there's a little bit of fibrous tissue they call the disc, which fits up there so that when you bite hard, your two bones are separated by this bit of fibrous tissue, and that stops it being painful. Now, the problem with people who have temporomandibular joint problems is nearly always the same. Both their upper and lower jaw are too far back. Now, unfortunately, orthodontic treatment often does make it worse, but you can't say that orthodontic treatment cures it. It's just it reduces the forward position of both your jaws and makes it more likely. The real reason is quite a subtle one. Both the hollow and the condyle are very adaptable. It's surprising how they are. My original research was into the actual condyle itself, and I was involved with a surgical unit where we were cutting the whole of the top of the condyle off because people were in such pain they said, I can't bear it anymore. Now what my research showed was I got some of those patients back 5 years later, and that complete condyle had grown back into position.
Oh, wow.
This is something that I had operated on, thrown the condyle in a bin, and lo and behold, there it was in the joint.
That's amazing.
That didn't often happen, but did occasionally happen, but it taught me just so much about what's really going on. These are trying to compensate. Therefore, something pretty radical must be stopping them from compensating. Therefore, I'm saying to you, we need to find out what causes this dysfunction, you could call it, of your jaw. Why should you have it? You're a normal person. All right, you've had orthodontic treatment. You have probably got both your upper and your lower jaws set back a bit. But what can anyone practically offer to help it? Now, the one thing that I discovered from the regrowth of the condyle is that all joints in the body, the condyle as well, will grow into the position they are normally postured in. And that's a very important thing, because if therefore you have the wrong posture at rest, your condylar joint is likely to grow to that position. Then when you go somewhere else, it may cause trouble. And this happens very much if you look at, say, someone who is eating, they will have a different jaw position from when they are sitting quietly. Now, one of the interesting things with people who have had their jaws pulled back is many of them tend to keep their tongue between their teeth. I don't know if you do, but it's a very common pattern. If you keep your tongue between your teeth most of the time, the condyle will then grow to suit that position because it grows to where the jaw is most of the time. If you then eat, you're doing this. Therefore, every time you eat, or every time you clench, your jaw goes back in the joint and causes pressure, and after a time it often causes pain, sometimes severe pain. Now, I have in my mind no doubt that that is your problem, but it's also the problem, I believe, of nearly all people who have this syndrome, the TMD, the temporomandibular dysplasia. So what is the cure, you might say? Well, the cure is to posture your jaw in the position that you're going to eat in, which is with your teeth gently together. Now, huge quantities and numbers of people in civilized society keep their tongue just a little bit between their teeth, so the teeth aren't quite in contact. Now, at rest, your teeth should be in gentle contact. That will ensure your condyle grows to the right position. It will also ensure that whenever you eat, your condyle is in the right position. And people who do that will not and do not have any problems with their joints. Now, it is strangely, in fact, very difficult to correct one's own posture. So my advice to you, and indeed to everybody who's watching this particular program, is try somehow or other to learn to keep your teeth in gentle contact. That's where they should be. That is where we believe they used to be in all our primitive ancestors. The interesting thing is that all our primitive ancestors had perfect teeth, and as far as we can judge, perfect jaws and joints. It's a modern disease, and it may be associated with orthodontic treatment, but of course orthodontic treatment itself is associated with the incorrect growth of the jaws and teeth, which is also a modern disease. They are all diseases because of the style of living we now have. Eating soft food and leaving our mouths open. Those are the main things. So my advice to you, Jenny, would be try that. Now, you have a huge advantage in that you are a hypnotist. Now, are you able to hypnotize yourself? Some can.
Yes, in as much as I think that hypnosis is very similar to something like yoga. You have a concept of what you want to do. You set your concept in place, and it's the same as movement when you're dreaming. You don't have to overthink it. Your immune system will take over. So when you're talking, it's so interesting hearing you talk.
Right, but don't worry, and you may know that I'm a trained hypnotist myself. I haven't practiced it in years, so I'm not going to practice it on you. But I know the power of self-will, and this is what we're talking about. I've seen what hypnosis can do. It can do quite phenomenal things to the body, things that no one would believe were possible. Anyway, you should be able to train yourself with a bit of single-minded thinking to keep your teeth gently in contact for long periods. Not all the time. The research suggests your teeth need to be in gentle contact for about 4 to 8 hours a day. There is contrary research, but most of it is old-fashioned and I think flawed. But the modern belief, I think, is that if you keep your teeth in contact, they will sink in. If you leave your mouth open, the teeth will erupt. Therefore, all your teeth should meet evenly if you keep them in touch. Just gently most of the day, and that's the advice I would give you, Jenny. Now I'm going to come and have a chat with me in another month or two, and I hope by then you've noticed a real improvement. But you shouldn't need to de-stress yourself. I think you'll be able to enjoy your life, not worry about watching these emotional films, because you won't get stressed, because you won't develop TMD. You will, because you'll teach yourself to keep your teeth in gentle contact for 4 to 8 hours, and if you can, I would suggest your tongue in your palate rather than slightly between your teeth, then I think your problems will stop.
Thank you. Rather than avoiding stress, I think I've been doing that without knowing that that's what I was doing for some years now. I think that if anything, that's why my face hasn't, I think you described it as collapsed.
No, I mean, you've got quite good posture, I can see that.
But this is the thing. So rather than focusing on getting away from stress, the way that I've done it is the front of, I don't want my head to be cowed. No. I want to be, you know, stand up tall and be strong and find it simple. Okay. So the way that I've done it has been, I want the back of my neck to be as supported as the front of my neck, not bent. And I've felt down into my shoulder blades, and by doing that my tongue was straight with the horizon line, and then I didn't have to focus on doing it. No, you are obviously good and a great believer in self-cure. Everybody can cure themselves better than anyone else can cure them. And that is the message Jenny needs to take home. And I think she's got the
willpower and the intelligence to achieve that. We'll wait a couple of months and maybe we'll be able to show you what happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you.